There is a strange kind of tension in the sky for Aries today, and it starts with a simple, uncomfortable question. If you looked at yourself the way a stranger does, right now, today, would you even recognize what they see? That question has been quietly building for months, and today it finally demands an answer. Here is the bigger picture. For the past few months, Neptune has been moving through your own sign, Aries, which in Western tropical astrology means it is touching the very core of how you present yourself. Neptune softens edges and blurs lines, so anything tied to your image, your name, your face, your photos, your social presence has likely felt slightly out of focus. Not fake, exactly, just filtered. The world is not really responding to who you are underneath, it is reacting to the version of you it currently sees, and that gap between the two is where this Neptune cycle lives. Layer onto that a much faster moving story happening today. In Western tropical terms, the moon spends the early hours in Pisces, quietly stirring some private doubt or low-grade frustration, especially with Venus currently lighting up your sector of daily work and wellness. That early mood is not a signal to act, it is just noise clearing before the real signal arrives. By this afternoon, the Western tropical moon crosses into Aries itself, landing in your first house of identity, the house that is literally about you. That shift tends to convert vague restlessness into real, directed motivation. Now here is where it gets genuinely interesting, because if you follow Vedic or sidereal astrology instead, today's moon is not in Aries or Pisces at all. Sits in Aquarius. Two respected traditions, two different skies, both technically correct, because they are measuring the zodiac from different starting points roughly 24 degrees apart. And strangely, that is not a contradiction to explain away. It is almost a preview of exactly what Neptune has been doing to your image for months. Depending on which lens someone uses to look at you, they see something slightly different. The Western lens shows you a moon pushing you toward bold self-expression this afternoon. The Vedic lens shows you a moon in Aquarius, favoring an unusually generous, connective kind of energy, the sort that plants long-term friendships rather than quick sparks. Both are true. Both are happening. You are simply being read through two different instruments at once. You may have noticed this pattern already showing up in your relationships, that push and pull between wanting to move fast and needing someone to actually see you clearly first. That tension sits right at the center of today's romantic weather. Early restlessness, especially anything Venus is stirring around your work or your health routine, can easily disguise itself as romantic impatience. It is worth pausing before mistaking irritation for readiness. But once the afternoon moon settles into Aries, your confidence tends to rise sharply, and your feelings become noticeably harder to hide. This is a day when a direct text, a straightforward invitation, or an honest question could genuinely move something forward. The catch, and it is a real one, is urgency. Interest looks attractive on you. Deadlines do not. Say what you want plainly. Then give the other person actual room to answer honestly instead of a countdown clock. That same generous Aquarian thread from the Vedic reading suggests something worth sitting with for a moment. If someone crosses your path today who genuinely needs help, offering it may plant the seed of a friendship with real staying power, the kind that does not disappear the moment things get hard, unlike some past connections you may have quietly outgrown. Take a breath here, because this part tends to land personally. The people who stay are rarely the ones who arrive loudest. We will come back to relationships in a moment, but first, your work life deserves attention, because the same afternoon energy that sharpens your feelings also sharpens your ambition. The weekend carried a notably chatty undertone, courtesy of a Moon-Mercury trine that made it easier to talk through anything that felt stuck. And by Sunday evening the moon had already brushed briefly through Aries, giving you an early taste of the momentum returning today. If a particular project, plan, or person has felt like a watch pot that refuses to boil, today extends that same conversational opening. Talking it through, rather than stewing over it, remains your most effective tool. Just remember, some delays are not about you at all. They reflect a bigger sequence of events you cannot fully see yet. That first house energy, your identity taking center stage this afternoon, is also an excellent moment to check in on a passion project or simply ask yourself, honestly, where all this effort is actually taking you. If the honest answer is straight to the bank account and nowhere else, meaning satisfaction, a sense of purpose, that is worth a small course correction rather than a full stop. Ambition, without direction, just becomes motion for its own sake. Which brings us naturally to money, because that same question about where your effort leads applies just as directly to your finances today. Nothing dramatic is indicated, but the energy favors quiet recalibration over big swings. This is a better day for reviewing whether your financial habits actually serve the life you want, rather than making any large or hasty moves. A little patience with slow-moving outcomes at work often translates, indirectly, into steadier financial footing too. Here is what makes today genuinely worth remembering. Two different, legitimate astrological traditions are reading your sky through two different moons today, Aquarius in one system, Pisces sliding into Aries in the other, and that split is a near-perfect mirror of exactly what months of Neptune in your own sign have been doing to your public image. People are not responding to the whole of you. They are responding to whichever angle happens to be visible to them in that moment. Most people watching a horoscope today will miss that connection entirely. You will not, and that alone changes how you might handle feedback about your image for the rest of this cycle. With that in mind, this is a genuinely good day to turn that same outward awareness inward. You have an unusual capacity right now to notice, honestly and without defensiveness, what actually needs to change, whether in your routine, your health habits, or simply your pace. Small adjustments, especially around rest, tend to produce results larger than they seem on the surface. If work tries your patience later today, and it may, resist the urge to react immediately. Slower response almost always serves you better than a fast one when Mars-driven impatience is this close to the surface. Picture, for a moment, an old photograph of yourself that you have not looked at in years. It captures one angle, one moment, one expression, frozen. That is roughly what your public image has felt like under this Neptune cycle. A single frozen angle standing in for the whole of you. Today's split sky, two moons, two traditions, two slightly different truths, is basically an invitation to collect a few more angles from people you actually trust before deciding the photograph tells the full story. On the social and family side, expect conversations to move unusually smoothly today. A good, honest chat, particularly with someone you have not fully reconnected with, may genuinely shift how you see them, softening old assumptions you had not realized you were still carrying. Perhaps you have realized lately that some relationships simply needed one honest conversation to reset, rather than months of distance. Tay favors exactly that kind of small, low-stakes repair. If you have been craving a change of scenery, today's energy supports it, particularly any trip that brings you closer to nature rather than deeper into noise and crowds. Even a short walk somewhere green does real work here, not just physically, but as a kind of reset for the same inward reflection Neptune has been quietly demanding of you for months. Spiritually, this is less a day for big revelations, and more a day for simply sitting with what you already sense, but have not said out loud. For anyone who likes a quick reference, Tay favors bold reds and warm oranges, the number 9, and any environment with open space and natural light. Small, visible details, but useful ones if you want a simple anchor for the day. So here is where this leaves you. Have one honest, unhurried conversation today, whether at work or with someone close to you. Offer help to someone if the chance appears, without expecting anything back. Take your afternoon burst of Aries confidence and aim it at one clear priority instead of scattering it across 5. And before the day ends, ask yourself that same question you started with, whether the version of you the world is currently seeing still matches who you actually are. You do not need every angle solved today. You just need to know a few more of them exist. If this reading helped you see your day a little more clearly, staying subscribed means the next one finds you right when you need it.